Hi, this is Hannah Rubenstall from Fanciful Spaces bringing you a video for Kat Scrappiness. Today I am creating a card using this stamp set by Fawn called For You Dear. It has two accompanying die sets. The For You Dear dies, which cuts out the cute little critters, the forward-facing and the rear-facing critters. And it also has an add-on where you can make cute little bookmarks. We're just going to use the forward-facing dies on this one and the forward-facing critters on this one for this card today. I do not need the stamping platform for this card at all. However, I really like to stamp on the spongy backside a lot. It provides a really crisp and clear image on the first stamping. I'm going to go ahead and ink up my stamp and stamp it on there. You'll see how crisp and clear that comes on. There's a little bit of rocking there. I'm not sure why I was being so rocky with my stamps. And because I have everything out, I'm going to go ahead and stamp a second set of images. I'll store these in the stamp sleeve so that I have them for future use, or if I mess up on my Copic markering later on in this card process, I'll already have them there so I can just color them again and die cut them again later. But here we go. I am going to pull out the coordinating dies for these two cute little critters. I will then go die cut them out, and I'm going to fast forward the video so that you can watch the Copic markering in faster time with a little bit of music. So maybe you can do a little dance and get inspired to pull out your markers. Okay, now I'm just making sure that my coloring was brought far enough down onto his tummy. It wasn't quite. I could still see the white paper. So I just took the lightest shade and I brought it down a touch. Didn't they turn out so super cute? I just love this little bear and this little deer. Lawn Fawn makes some of the cutest little critters. All right, and now I move on to the background of my card. I have taped a piece of Arch's cold press watercolor paper to a clipboard, and I am wetting my paper down using some water and a silver brush, black velvet brush. It's a size 12 brush. And I am actually using it and the water to spread the pigment from my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers. These zigs are my jam. I super duper love them. I am using light carmine, cobalt blue, and blue. I was sort of going for like an evening sunsetty sort of look, maybe in the winter time. I didn't need to extend my sky all the way down to the base of my panel. However, since I didn't know where everything would fall, I went ahead and dropped all of that pigment all the way down. Better to be safe than sorry. All right, now I'm going to use some Distress Oxide and Distress Ink to color up a piece of white cardstock. I'm going to be using this colored panel and the Pine Tree Border die from Kat Scrappiness to help create a forest look in my card. I apologize for my head popping into view here. I was worrying overly much about the angle that my trees would be die cut at. Knowing me, they'd be super crooked. So I was using the grid of one of my acrylic blocks just to make sure it went straight across. Now that that is die cut, I am going to take some white cardstock and I'm going to note where the tree line falls a little bit because I am going to trace out and then fussy cut out some snowbanks that my little critters are going to be popping out behind. Here are those critters, and I'm just testing them out and taking a look to see how things are going and erasing some pencil marks that I had made. And here I decided everything needed some shimmer. So I am using the Sparkle Sheer Shimmer Spritz Spray all over my watercolored panel, which I had dried previously off screen, and on my snowbank, just to make everything have that winter glittery glow. There is not a card done by me that is complete without glitter as far as I am concerned. Now the magic part where you take it off, and I'm going to trim this down to an A2 size. And now I am laying everything out, and I'm not entirely pleased by how everything is looking. Everything needs a border cut, so I am using these dies by Kat Scrappiness. Die cut each layer, but I'm not entirely pleased by how much space there is between the snowbanks and the trees. I've been feeling like something else needs to happen here. Here I am figuring out which sentiments I am going to be using. I did decide that I needed my stamping platform, and I am layering them out. Again, my head is in the way. I apologize. I am mostly focusing that they're equidistant from the edges from each other. Usually I use a clear piece of acetate for this, but I didn't have one on my desk at the time. So I am eyeballing it, which is fine. It goes with the form of the font. And I decided that I was going to clear emboss this as well. So I stamped it with Memento Tuxedo Black. With Versamark, I am stamping it, and then I'm using some Wow Clear embossing powder. I'm dusting away some of the excess. It wasn't necessary because of the shimmer spray. I just wasn't thinking about that at the time. I'm still not very happy with all of the extra space that there is, and I hadn't figured out what I was going to do about it. I am taping down my little critters using some score tape. And now I am using some Ranger Multimedia Matte and some Nuvo Pure Sheen glitter. I believe this is in diamond. And I am just running a thin bead of glue along the top of the snowbanks to sort of pretend that it's a little bit of glittering snow that you're seeing. I'm going to be doing this on top of some of the trees too of my die cut panel. Pouring it into a coffee filter is super great because it naturally wants to fold up, so I can easily pour my glitter right back into the container without too much fuss. And here I am putting some glitter on top of my trees. All right, at this point, I realized that what I needed were more trees. So I'm taking a step back, and I took another white panel of cardstock with some Distress Oxide. I'm going to be using Emerald Green as well as this Twisted Citron. Oh, Lucky Clover, excuse me. And I'm just making this one a little bit darker to give a little bit more variation. And I'm going to be using that same I'm going to be using that same pine die tree. And what I realized, and you'll see it here in a moment, was that I loved the reverse. I loved the negative piece. It gave me the opposite trees, so I didn't have the exact same trees lined up the exact same way. So that's exactly what I did, was I cut out for the opposite. And here I am just checking everything out. And I am, again, going to go ahead and run this through the die stitch and glitter the heck out of these treetops. The ceiling fan in my craft room was blowing around my coffee filter at the time. And I need to apologize to you about my nails. My 5-year-old had painted my nails and I wasn't even thinking about them when I went to go make this card. Now, this would not be a card video done by yours truly if I didn't somehow mess up on the video. I did not record the final steps of my putting this card together. So I took an A2 card base out of Nina Solar White, 110 pound, and I basically just layered one layer on top of the other, adhering each to each other with some score tape. That's all there was to it. Just score tape and layer, score tape and layer. I hope that I have inspired you. I hope that you're feeling crafty and creative and that you go out and get in your craft room. Have a great day.